Uh, there we are. So thank you very much for joining me today, everybody. I'll just put this presentation on so that we can hopefully play some videos for you as well. So hopefully you can see my screen there. Basically, I'm going to walk through some of the things that are new from Wendy Wu Tours, as well as sort of give you a bit of a refresher, if you are familiar with our company, about what we do, how long we've been around, and the destinations that we go to. But we've really expanded our sort of destination offering, and I think sometimes it's easy for people to just think of us as from a couple of destinations. I'll start with a very brief overview. We are the #1 Asia tour operator for escorted tours from the UK, and most customers travel with us on our fully inclusive packages. But I will explain that a little bit more depth on the next slide of the different types of tours you can actually do with us. If a visa is required by any British passport holders for any of our destinations, that is included in the price. And we have our own visa department to work closely with Baldwin's to make sure that that runs very, very smoothly. We've won a huge amount of awards from within the travel industry and consumer publications, 5-star TripAdvisor rating, gold trusted service on FIFO. It says 20 years experience there. This is because this is a UK presentation. We've actually got 26 years because the company operated in Australia for the first 6 years of its life before Wendy moved to London to make the UK the head office. And we really do have the best guides in the business as well. We do pride ourselves also on being able to offer a different range of tours for people. So we have our classic group tours, which is what most people travel with us on. And that means everything's included. So all of your guiding, 4-star accommodation, all of your food, all of your excursions and experiences, your flights, of course, and your visa. Maximum group size on a classic group tour is 28, although in Japan it's 24. With our Go Beyond tours, these are for people who maybe don't want so much included. They want a little bit more free time. They want to get off the beaten track a little bit more as well. They still have a guide who is with them from start to finish, but some of the Go Beyond tours can be a little bit more physically demanding. They may involve going over some rough terrain, for example, or some hiking, or possibly cycling. So it is with the Go Beyond tours, you do really need to discuss with your travel agent exactly what our physical rating is for that and what that means for you. If we have any solo travelers, then we have dedicated solo departures, but also we've got some fantastic offers, which I'm going to tell you about at the end. And there's an absolutely amazing offer there for solos. And then if you don't want to travel in a group, we can do any of our tours as a private tour, or alternately, we can tailor make as well. So of course, a huge range of tours. And if you're a member of any social club or you want to put a special group together, we can work in conjunction with Baldwin's again to ensure that we can put that together and really tailor something to your group's needs. So let's have a brief look at the destinations we travel to. As I said, we are the market leaders from the UK for China and Japan. We also travel all across Southeast Asia. We've added New Zealand as a destination there, and I'll explain a little bit more about that towards the end of the presentation. India, Latin America, and Antarctica with small ship expedition cruises, and our short haul program of Europe and the Middle East. And this is really, really selling incredibly well at the moment, considering particularly that we only sort of launched it at the back end of last year. Now, I'm just going to use this slide to explain what Wendy Wu Tours do differently to other escorted tour operators. So a lot of it is with regards to authentic experiences. So this is our top selling tour of China. And when we go to Beijing, we go to a much quieter part of the Great Wall, for example. So a lot of other operators will go to the closest area to Beijing, which is the Badalin section. It has a cable car, a toboggan ride, and is incredibly popular with the Chinese. So it gets very, very full, very, very quickly. We will go to a much further out section, and you'll have the experience that I had of being on the wall very early in the morning, as soon as that section opens, pretty much having a whole section to yourself, great photographs, and a really fantastic experience. And then as we're leaving, some other operators and people are arriving. So quality of experience is key. We then move down to Xi'an. I'm going to use this as an example about hotels, because it's not just about the star rating of the hotel, it's where it's located. And Xi'an's a walled city, and you really want to be within those ancient walls, because it's a fabulous city to spend an evening wandering around after you've had your evening meal. Lots to see, lots to do. So you really want to be in it. And that's one of the key things about our hotels. It's not just their really great hotels, excellent facilities, 4-star, but it's also where they're located. And then we move to talk about the pacing of a tour. So a number of other operators will do a similar itinerary to this, but they may do it in 12 days or 13 or 14. And you will actually, in doing that, you'll see all of the sites, but you will be rushed around. So the Yangtze River, we spend 4 nights on this cruise. Other operators, it's generally 2. And we feel that this really, really helps with the pacing of the tour. We don't want you to feel like you need another holiday when you come back. We want to make sure that you've really experienced a hell of a lot. And then going to areas that other operators may not go to, like Guilin and Yangzhou. So just as an example, like getting off that beaten track a little bit and having a real mixture of big cities and rural locations. So that's really what Wendy Wu tours do. We have the Wendy Wu tours difference, if you like. So when we go to Ranthambore in India, we have a 2-night safari to see the tigers, whereas other operators are there for a day. We do the same in Peru when we go to Machu Picchu. We have a 2-day pass there, whereas most are there for a short period of time, generally in the afternoon, and then they're off staying somewhere cheaper on the outskirts for the next part of their tour. So pacing is really, really key. I'm now just going to show a short video of our tours of Japan, because Japan has been all the way through the last 2 years a real constant booker for us, where a lot of people are wanting to really have an amazing trip to a destination that's like no other. And Japan is an amazing destination. It is our most expensive destination that we travel to, which is why our classic tours here are so popular, because everything is included. And this is our top selling tour. And this really does what most people want to do when they visit the main island of Honshu in Japan. And it is an amazing destination. It's like nowhere else I've ever traveled to. And I do strongly believe that Japan is one of the destinations everybody should go to at some point in time in their life. We start off on this tour in Osaka. You'll get to see the bowing deer at Nara, have the opportunity to feed them, see the fantastically well-preserved Himeji Castle, a fantastic example of Japanese ancient castle architecture. Down to Mirajima Shrine Island, where you'll see the most famous torii gates, the orange torii gate that seems to float in the middle of the lake there. And then, of course, spend some time in Hiroshima. And then we take a bullet train up to Kyoto. And the bullet train, everything you've heard about them is true. Spotlessly clean, amazing way to travel, always on time, absolutely amazing. Really does put our train system to absolute shame. And Kyoto, the ancient capital, I loved it around here opportunity to see the geishas, have a genuine, authentic tea ceremony. So again, we're not taking you to the more touristy tea ceremonies. We'll take you to an ancient tea house, and you'll really enjoy this element of learning about how tea became such an important part of the culture of ancient Japan. Up to Kanazara, some of the most famous Japanese gardens, and also learning about the samurai. Takayama and Yudanaka have a Japanese onsen up in the Japanese Alps in the mountains, see the snow monkeys, the Japanese macaques. And then we come down to Mount Fuji with a cruise across Fuji 5 Lakes, and then taking the Hakone cable car to see across the valley to Mount Fuji, before we then actually go up to the 5th station of Mount Fuji itself, and then finish in the madness of Tokyo. So an absolutely stunning tour. We've got tours ranging from 8 days up to 21 days. Our Japan by Rail covers all 3 of the major islands of Japan. And this is just to give you a little flavor of what we do. Now, in December 2019, I was very lucky enough to be on the inaugural launch of our ship, the Victoria Mekong, which you can see here in Vietnam. I was there with Wendy and members of our team. It has continued sailing during COVID times, but of course only for domestic tourism. But the good news is that Vietnam is going to be open come the end of March. So we're very excited about that. Cambodia is already open. So being able to welcome international tourists again on our vessel, we're very excited about. It's a beautiful ship. Very compact, really, with regards to number of passengers. 70 passengers as a max, 33 deluxe cabins on 2 levels, all exactly the same, and 2 VIP cabins. And the cabins really are beautiful and very spacious. The average on the river is normally 16 to 18 meters squared. Ours are 25 meters squared. And also, you don't have a Juliet balcony. Every cabin has a full, proper, double private balcony for you to be able to sit out, have a cocktail in the evening, or have a cup of tea in the morning, for example. The food on here is amazing. It's really bright and modern in its design. There's a cinema on board, a spa with a couple of massage rooms, a small gym, an infinity pool, fabulous barbecues out the back of the restaurant, outdoor, absolutely incredible. And she also sails. Again, this is Wendy Wu are really about the authenticity, and we sail from a different tributary at the bottom of the Mekong. So it's much more authentic. It's not full of big westernized ships like the other part of the Mekong is. And you get to do these fantastic excursions and meeting locals, making local crafts. And it really is amazing. And I absolutely love this element of the cruise. But more than me just telling you, let's have a look at a little video. So she really is a stunning, stunning vessel. We have about 6 tours that include the Victoria Mekong ship cruising up or down the Mekong. So look out for those. The classic Mekong is the most popular at 17 days. Now on to some of our shorter haul destinations. We expanded into the Middle East a while ago now, and we have 3 tours of the Middle East. We have in Israel, Egypt, and our journey through Jordan. And what's great about these tours is that they're 7 days in duration. So they're quite short. And the beauty of these destinations is that you're not having to cover huge distances. So you can actually see quite a lot in that period of time. But if you want to come to this part of the world and you want to really see as much as possible, then we've actually mix and match them. So we've put the departure dates together. We also have our Central Asia program, and we've expanded this massively. And Uzbekistan has been very, very popular over the years, and we continue to travel across this Silk Road area. We've added Georgia fairly recently, and every June we have a tour of Mongolia for the Nadam Festival, which is really like the Mongolian Highland Games, if you like. It's a big festival, and it's about the disciplines Genghis Khan said you had to have to be a good warrior, of wrestling, archery, and horse riding. But let's have a little look at a video of some of these fantastic areas. So I'm only able to give you a bit of a flavor of some of these places during the course of this presentation. But the newest and most exciting destinations for Wendy Wu has been our European program, which we have 2 tours which we operated in 2021 of Scotland. Our first went out in October, and then we did a separate tour, very different, at Christmas. And this is our current brochure for Europe and the Middle East. And within here, we have the Middle East tours I've already explained. We have a tour of Greece, 2 tours of Italy, in North and Southern Italy, Portugal, and of course, those Scottish tours. But what makes us different in Europe, particularly? So I've explained what we do in Asia and across all of our destinations and what makes us different. And we've still taken that ethos into Europe. So I like to show this grid because if you look at this grid, up on the left-hand side, you have price, and across the bottom, you have the number of inclusions. And I do strongly believe that you do get what you pay for. And it's not that any of these companies that I'm listing here are not great companies, because they are. They're all bonded. They do what they do very, very well. But we just do things a bit differently. So really for us, our European tours are for those people that want to do a little bit more, and they want a little bit more cultural immersion and some really fabulous, unique experiences. So I'll just make a couple of examples on each of our tours. So our Scotland tour, as an example. Now, this is the only tour where you have to make your own way up to Scotland. So this is a land-only tour as far as Wendy Wu is concerned, but Baldwin's, of course, would be able to help you with that transportation up there. And it includes everything. All of these tours are classic tours. Just a couple of examples. When we go to the Isle of Skye, we have a really immersive experience with a legend on the Isle, actually, a guy called Mitch, who's a gillie, who works and lives off of the land. And he can regale you of tales of the island and its history, but also learning about how to forage and live off the land and some of the wildlife there. So really, really unique experience. And also other operators make a big thing of you being able to see the Jacobite steam train, also known as the Harry Potter train. Well, on Wendy Wu tours, just seeing something as it goes past across the viaduct isn't good enough for our customers. We do that, of course, but you actually go on it. And the 84-mile round trip, starting in the foothills of Ben Nevis, and it's an absolutely amazing experience, seeing the waterfalls, the lochs, the stunning countryside, a beautiful way to travel. So just a couple of examples on our Spirit of Scotland tour. So Portugal Uncovered, this is a stunning tour, starting in Oporto and then travelling down through the Gerês National Park, spending some time on the Douro on a traditional Rebelo boat, just for a short cruise there to see some of the fabulous vineyards, lots and lots of wine tasting, and of course, port tasting in Oporto, and then finishing up in the stunning city of Lisbon. So a real stunning tour. And I just want to highlight Lisbon. So again, this is just to explain the difference of a Wendy Wu tour. So when we arrive in Lisbon of an evening, we'll take our guests out to some of the old traditional tavernas and inns where fado singing was sort of developed. And it's a bit like old English sea shanties / folk music. It's quite haunting, and we have a fado singer who will actually sing for you and take you around these places, and you can learn about the history of this music that's very, very integral to old ancient Portugal. And then the following day, our tour of Lisbon, and your experiences in Lisbon itself, I think, are a prime example of what we do that's different. With most operators, they will take you around this city. You might have a little bit of a walking tour. You may spend some time on the coach, and then the guide will leave you to explore on your own. What we do is we will actually take you on a walking tour, and then we have our own private charter of the number 28 tram just for our customers. And this takes you around all of the traditional old parts of Portugal. So it's an amazing way to actually get around the city. We then will board a fleet of tuk-tuks as we come out of Portugal up to Belém. where we'll learn about all the ancient explorers that pretty much discovered the world, and beautiful architecture up there. And then we'll sail back along the river there, as you can see, back into the main part of Portugal, before we then will have an amazing farewell dinner, as this is our last night, in a rooftop restaurant overlooking the city. Now, for me, that's how you do Lisbon. Moving on to Greece, this is a absolutely stunning tour. We do see, of course, things that you would expect with Athens, over to see where the Olympics were devised, created, the fantastic Delphi, which is a real stunning ancient site. You'll see the Corinth Canal. But one of the real specialities here that a lot of operators don't go up to is Matura. This is where they have these ancient monasteries, quite sort of precariously, it looks, perched upon these amazing mountain casts. So a real fabulous experience, and a beautiful, beautiful area of mainland Greece to visit. And then Italy, one of my favorite destinations in the world. I've been so many times, and there's still so much more for me to discover when I go. We have a Northern Italy tour and a Southern Italy tour. So our Northern Italy, starting in Milan, we go up to Mont Blanc, and you'll have lunch in the Observation 360 restaurant there, for example, down to Lake Como, where we will take a cruise across to Bellagio, which is stunning, time in Verona, and then, of course, Venice. And again, when we say we're in Venice, that's where our hotel is. So you can actually see Venice at night as well as during the day, which a lot of other escorted tour operators don't do. And for me, Venice at night is absolutely stunning. It's a beautiful, beautiful city. And of course, we get back to normal. There's normally lots of cruise ships here. But if you're staying in Venice and you're there in the evening, you get to have it much quieter and to yourself. We've also taken our customers out to learn about the glass making on the island of Murano, and then also the fabulous fishermen's cottages, and learn about lace making on the smaller island of Burano as well. And it really is worth coming out to these smaller islands, as well as the fabulousness of the main part of Venice. It's a city I've been to 5 times now, and I can still go back time and time again, because there is nowhere like it on the planet. And then our Southern Italy tour. Now, this has been incredibly popular. Of course, you start in Rome, you see everything you would expect to see in Rome, including the Vatican, down to Naples, and out to Pompeii, which again is an incredible experience. Some time in Sorrento, and then out to Matera and the Puglia region, where you see the Puglia townhouses, where we actually will stay in a truly house, and then down for 5 nights in Sicily, which I think is what's really making this tour quite special. And one of the areas we visit, you may recognize this if you've watched the most recent James Bond film, and that opening mystical place, and we actually visit there, and the houses that are built into the caves, and it's beautiful. So just touching a little bit on a couple of our other destinations, Latin America and Antarctica. Our top selling tour is called Chile Top to Toe. We've got Antarctica expedition cruises, and then we also have tours of Argentina that take you through Bolivia, Brazil, Colombia, Ecuador, the Galapagos Islands as well, Peru, Uruguay, and a lot of people who do our Chile tour will also take our 5-day extension out to Easter Island. But if you wanted to do this part of the world in one big hit, we have a fabulous 5-country tour, Ultimate South America, spending a lot of time in Peru. Then you come down through Bolivia, spending time on the salt flats and actually staying in a hotel completely made of salt, before traveling through Chile, over the Andes, into Argentina and the Mendoza region for some fabulous wine. Buenos Aires, where you'll spend time on an Argentinian gaucho, the Cowboys Ranch, learn all about their way of life. See Iguazu Falls from the Argentinian and the Brazilian side, before finishing up in Rio. So if you wanted to do a lot of South America in one hit, or alternately do some of these countries individually, you can do that all with Wendy Wu Tours. And we have launched 3 tours for the UK market for New Zealand. Now, we have an office in Australia, an office in New Zealand, and our head office in the UK. And in our New Zealand office and our Australian office, they came up with a range of tours for the local domestic market while people were not able to travel down there. And of the New Zealand tours, we felt that these would actually appeal to UK clients as well. You can do a tour of the North Island, a tour of the South Island, or alternately, you put them together and you have a big, long 23-day tour of both islands. The beauty of this is that this has been put together by Kiwis for Kiwis. So it is going to different places. You are eating in fabulous and very different and varied restaurants, whereas a lot of escorted tours for New Zealand, because food's quite expensive, you would eat in the hotel. And that's never an option on a Wendy Wu tour. We take you to great restaurants. The only time you'll be eating in the hotel is for your breakfast. So on to some of our flexible booking and some of our current offers. So it's just a £99 per person deposit. You get a free date amendment with that, and your balance is not due until 6 weeks before departure. If we have to cancel a tour for whatever reason, whether that's COVID related or possibly not, then we would do that before that 6 weeks balance is due, and you would be offered the opportunity to either have your deposit back, move your tour to another date, or alternately move to another destination that is open and able to run. Although this says January sale, we have extended these offers into February. So as you saw there, this offer is still valid for bookings up until the 14th of February. And it's on all tours in 2022 and 2023. We do expect Japan to open in the summer for international tourists. And it's free return flights or no single supplement. So on the free return flights on the Japan Uncovered tour, you would save £700 per person. On our Japan by Rail tour, you save £800 per person. And on the no single supplement, you're paying the same price on a tour as a couple would pay. And you can save just under £2,000 on that Japan Uncovered tour by not having to pay a single supplement if you're a solo traveler. Across all of our destinations, again, this is for February, we have partner flies free or 50% off our solo airfares. So again, you can save up to £565 per person on that by getting a free airfare for one of the travelers, or 50% off the total airfare price if you are a solo traveler. And this is the real big one, and this is until the end of February. The other two until the 14th is the solo traveler sale. So no single supplement on any of our classic group tours traveling in 2022 or 2023 to Japan, China, India, Vietnam, Cambodia, Thailand, Peru, Chile, and also South Korea. So that's an amazing solo traveler sale. So I know lots of people are itching to get away. We have our first overseas tour happening on the, as you saw there, to Sri Lanka, early part of March. We've still got a couple of places left on that. I think we've got 2 or 3 places left on our first Portugal Uncovered departure. So if you want to get away in the next few months, and of course destinations are starting to open up all of the time, then you can really look at Wendy Wu Tours and get away in the few upcoming months, but also grab a bargain for 2023 maybe. So thank you very much for listening. That's all that remains for me to say on this particular presentation. I am available for any questions, should there be any. I'm just going to stop the share and yep. And I'm just going to pause